This is Moneyline Mania with Jazz and the crew.
What's going on, guys? How are you?
Hey, you know what? I'm thinking of the four of us. So it's me and Hector, Josh and Petey. Petey's getting the best deal here with Errol not being around.
Oh,
I'm telling you that right now.
Now, Chaz, didn't I say how much more subtle it is when he's not on?
I've listened to your shows and watched you on before, and Errol's an Errol. There's one Errol. That's it. There's no one. And really, remember, I grew up back there. I know East Coast guys and New York guys. They're different than the rest of the peoples in the world. And they're great. You don't necessarily want two of them, though.
No.
Oh, God, cloning Errol. That's a scary thought.
That's what you want to stay away from.
We got bumped tonight, but we do have a good thing that happens this weekend. It's Thanksgiving in Canada, on Monday, Canadian Thanksgiving. So we get a CFL game on Monday, which is part of Wes's package. So we got a couple plays from Wes. Hector's a soccer guy first and foremost, but don't let him kid you. He could talk to you about anything. The problem is, as in reviewing like 15 years of tapes from shows, he always picks the Steelers.
No comment this year.
The Steelers against the Bills are going to cover, Hector? Is that what you're telling me?
What's the spread on that?
I think it was 14.
I'll take 14 on the football game this early. I'll take 14.
Wow, that's a lot of faith you have in your offense, which Najee Harris is banged up.
He's absolutely right, though. An NFL game shouldn't have double-digit spreads, and we're seeing 2 or 3 of them almost every week now going forward.
The Pickens combo is maybe your only chance.
I
Chase
really
Claypool might
watching
get a
that
first
game.
down, and then
I could not
celebrate.
believe they were keeping that kid on the bench. What do you got to lose? This is not working. What you have on the field for these first 2 or 3 games is not football. Don't get me wrong. It's probably better than Russell Wilson or
I was going to say,
Seattle.
we're not the Broncos right now. That thing was a brutal thing to watch the other day, dude.
I gave out the under on that game. And everyone was complaining about the game, and I thought it was artistically beautiful. 6 minutes into that game, you knew the under was good. And it just kept getting better. It was 42 points, and that 42 points kept looking bigger and bigger and bigger as that game went on. It was horrible football.
As long as Nathaniel Hackett's coaching, the under is a pretty safe bet.
No doubt about it. All right, so Hector, what are you thinking? I know that you're dealing with USL. Do they have any games on Sunday?
Yeah, they got a bunch. They got actually 4 games on Sunday.
So let's look at that because we are in the heart of that end of a season. And guys, it comes up here in the Canadian Football League probably in the next week too, where teams are out of it and teams are in it. And then teams are on the cusp. So it's a different way of betting when the season is over for some teams, how they respond. Either way, could be over because they clinched their seed, right? They're not changing their seed, or they're gone. They're just going to empty their locker and get out of there. Or the people that are on the cusp, and every week is a playoff game. I've always liked going on the back as somebody who the last 3 or 4 games of the season, whatever sport it is, they had to win to get in because you know they're playing like it was a playoff for a week ahead of everybody else. So anybody like that, Hector, on Sunday?
Yeah, I'm looking at 3 games actually. Speaking of Pittsburgh, we got the Pittsburgh Riverhounds going on the road against the Sacramento Republic. Pittsburgh's the 5 seed in the East, and Sacramento's the 4 seed in the West right now. They're pretty much locked into the 4 seed, which means they'll get a home playoff game. If you guys remember, that's the team that went all the way to the final of the U.S. Open Cup, and they surprised like 3 Major League Soccer teams to get to the final. Eventually, they lost to Orlando, but everybody was rooting for the Cinderella story right there. USL Championship team winning a U.S. Open Cup. Yeah, these 2 teams are looking good, man. I mean, they're both pretty much locked into position right now, but you definitely want, they only got a couple games left, and they definitely want to go into the playoffs streaking and playing their best ball. It's about finishing strong and being in the best position to keep the momentum going, not so much who finishes first or not. But yeah, I'm liking Sacramento at home. I think they're going to bounce back from some losses or some pathetic play that they had recently, and I think they're going to pull off the match, and they're going to beat the Riverhounds. Another Pittsburgh team going down. I think they're going to beat Pittsburgh 1-0 at home.
So pretty much you'll have the same amount of points as the Steelers.
No safeties, unfortunately.
Have you ever been to Pittsburgh?
No, I became a Steeler fan because my dad was a Cowboy fan. I grew up in Mexico, and that's when the Cowboys were the biggest thing. They only showed Cowboy games in Mexico growing up. So it was either the home games by Televisa or the road games by Azteca. So I got sick of those guys. So the rivals back then were the Steelers, so that's how I became a Steeler.
They sure were. Our host, have either of you guys been to Pittsburgh?
I have not. My brother went there on a college trip, and he actually went to a Pirates game there. He said that park was beautiful.
I've been to Pittsburgh a couple of times for Mets, Pirates, Primanti Bros. That's the spot.
Yeah, I was there once for a golf outing. We spent the weekend, and we partied. Literally, we were Riverhounds. That's why I brought it up, because we got drunk. They have a strip where it's all bars. We had a golf weekend, so we did golf, and you all could have a bogey. You could take a mulligan. So the way it worked is we drank at every bar we passed. We would not pass a bar without taking a drink, but there was 4 of us. Everybody could mulligan that bar if we needed a little break. And we made it like 7 bars and we were done. We were sloth. We drank all day playing golf and then tried to do a bar run at night. But we ended up at midnight at a place that you had to pay money to get in, and they had lap dances on the top floor and an open bar. It was really a wild place. I have no idea where it was, but we had a good time in Pittsburgh.
San Diego Loyal, my team in San Diego. They're going to be taking on New Mexico United. San Diego Loyal's locked into the 2 seed in the West, and New Mexico looks to be as the 5 seed right now. So they might end up playing in the playoffs depending on the result. This game, San Diego Loyal's looking good. They won their last game. They've had some close matches with the best teams in the conference, and Landon Donovan looks like the rumor is he's going to be leaving for MLS, Major League Soccer, to coach at one of the teams up there next year. So I'm sure he wants to leave with a good taste in his mouth and maybe even lift a trophy for San Diego. And I'm liking them to continue on, even though they're not going to go up and down in the standings. I think, again, another team that wants to keep playing strong as the playoffs come in, and they got that home crowd behind them at Torero Stadium. So I'm going to go with San Diego Loyal winning at home 2-1 on this one. And the third game is going to be San Antonio FC, the 1st seed in the West. They're already locked into the 1st seed. They're going to have home field advantage. They're actually going to have a bye week in the first week of the playoffs. And they're going to take on Birmingham Legion, who's still in the playoff hunt in the East. They're going to travel to Birmingham, so it'll be a long trip for San Antonio. I'm not saying they're going to have a letdown because they're such a good team. Even if they have their bench players playing, it's almost like having starters. But Birmingham Legion's definitely one of those teams that has to have a better seeding position, maybe get home field advantage in the Eastern Conference for the first round. But I'm liking Birmingham at home. They got more to play for than San Antonio. I think San Antonio's more about preventing injuries and working the minutes and coaching staff, managing the minutes of their starters. So I think Birmingham's going to come out at home with a pretty comfortable win. I'm going to go 2-0 on that one for the Legion.
I always like writing down the scores when he gives. Most handicappers don't give you the scores, but when you get the scores, it gives me a little bit more idea of what he's thinking the game's going to be, and I could play accordingly. So if he likes a low-scoring game and they score a couple quick goals, then I sometimes will hop on an under 5.5, and then I would score again for the whole game. So it works out well.
All right, guys.
All right, okay, go get him, Hector. So we'll slide from Hector to Blackhawk Wes, who wasn't able to make it today. He wasn't able to make it on Wake and Bake this morning. I'm not sure if you guys listened to Wake and Bake this morning, but if you did, you hit every bet and you turned $100 into $22,500,000. If you listened to Wake and Bake this morning, that's what you did. So if you didn't listen this morning, you should have listened next Saturday, 11 o'clock Eastern on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Bring that $100 with you.
What was the geographic location of the week?
Oh, actually, it was the middle of the North Atlantic.
Nice.
It was a place where it looked really pretty, but the picture looked like the movie with Tom Hanks, with the volleyball Wilson
Castaway, yeah.
Yeah, that's what it looked like. It didn't look inviting to be growing cannabis. It didn't look like it was a place where you could have an exclusive club. Don't you love those exclusive clubs where you could drink all day?
You can't grow cannabis in the cave? Oh, come on.
It didn't look like it. It looked like a place you would get deserted. So Blackhawk West has come in with us with a play for Sunday and a play for Monday. On Sunday, he likes Green Bay. Now, this is the same guy that hasn't given out a loser, I don't think, on this show in a long time.
You're right, not since like the early August.
We're talking about 11, 12, 13 in a row now. It's not a joke anymore. On Monday, he likes in the Canadian football game, which is Monday at 10 o'clock here, 1 o'clock Eastern time. So right in the heart of your day on Monday, there's no football right on Monday. You got to wait till Monday night. You can hop on Montreal. West says lay the points. Montreal's given up like 6.5. So lay the points there. So that would be a 2-teamer I would play for sure because I trust these guys handicapping. I'm going to look at some stuff for Sunday. When I look at Wes's play on Monday, one of the things that jumps out at me is that Montreal does have a pretty darn good record against the spread. I got a play that I'm doing with Ohio. I'm in Ohio talking to Billy Elvis every week. And so I try to stick with those teams. And I've got the Cleveland Charger game over, and I like Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati is going to win. Baltimore has not really been their best friend. They've been like their own worst enemy this year.
2 double-digit blown leads in the fourth quarter. Yep. That secondary is supposed to be really good. It's not been so far, but they really lack edge rushing depth, though, too, because their interior is very good.
Yeah, and I don't normally touch the Charger games. I don't really care about the Charger games. However, because I'm talking to people in Ohio and they're close to Cleveland, I looked at it, and so I like 50 over there. I would say if I was going to talk about any other games, I would talk about the fact that Giants fans have to get up early to see that ugly, ugly team of theirs.
Yeah, I'll be in Boston. I'm actually visiting my brothers this weekend, one of my brother's friends, and we're going to be hanging out at some kind of outdoor viewing place. You can watch these football games in Boston. The last time the Giants were in London, it was the Rams in 2016. That was before McVay got there. It was Jeff Fisher's last year, and it was a literal snooze fest. The Giants won 13-10, and I was trying to keep myself awake. Oh my God, it was so hard.
You've described a handful of games already this year, haven't you? Golly, geez, some of it is so ugly. Wes likes Green Bay. Here's the thing with the Giants. They've not scored any points, yet they're 3-1. So when was the last time the Giants were 3-1 and they didn't look good at 3-1? It's kind of weird that they're 3-1, you know?
Yeah, they've always been more, even when they were good with Coughlin, they were always more of a second half team. They started slow a lot outside of 2008, which they were the last undefeated team left. And then Plaxico Burress, literally and metaphorically, shot himself in the foot.
I do write for the Vegas Insider, and so they give me Monday and Thursday night, which is pretty cool. I've only been with them since May, but they give me those columns. They're exclusively mine, so I have a lot of fun with it. And I've been right on pretty much most games because I put a little extra effort into it. I haven't, though, looked at the Monday night game yet. I talked to John from GMF Sports, who is in Vegas and likes the Raiders, but he likes them this week to upset Kansas City on the field. I don't know about going into Kansas City on a night game and winning. Do you guys have any opinions on that?
I disagree with that. I don't really trust their defense.
Entirely. No way.
This is a guy who I highly respect and who right now I think is 13-6-1 in his last 20 plays with the NFL in the circa. And last week he won 5.
Now, refresh, is he a Raiders fan?
Not really. He's a Yankees fan.
Ugh, even worse.
He grew up in New York. The Sunday night game is Cincinnati at Baltimore. I like Cincinnati. There's another game that's the Miami Jets game, one of your neighborhoods. So I talked to Chris from Belly Up Sports, and he likes Miami to whack the Jets.
Ooh,
and you know what? The Jets did beat Pittsburgh, and we gave Hector some grief on Pittsburgh. But, I mean, really, beating Pittsburgh isn't something you even put on your resume. That's like you saying on your resume you were the vice president of sales, and then for 2 weeks you worked at the counter at Starbucks. You just don't put it on your resume.
Does he not realize that it's Bridgewater starting, not Tua?
Yeah, I'm a big Teddy Bridgewater fan. And when you're making a play, sometimes you're saying, I like this, but you're really saying I don't like the other team. And that could be where that is there.
Any 5-team parlays that we should know about?
No, but I will have Wes's parlay and I will add to it. So what I do is on Wake and Bake, I try to tell the guys to do 3 picks because this way you're either a winner or a loser. 2-2 doesn't do you any good. 3-1, 2-1, okay, 1-2, you stunk. And so I'll go through and I'll pull their plays and I'll throw those into a big play, 7-8 teamer. I only do it for like $5, but you know what? I've hit a few 7-teamers for $5 and they pay like 4 figures. So in the end, that last game for $5 is usually the way sports betting works is when you have a shot to hit a 7-teamer, the Lord doesn't give you the ability to hedge. 2 of the games go off at the same time usually, so you're kind of stuck. You can't really hedge 2 games. I'll definitely throw a parlay in on Hector's Sunday's games. I won't really worry about the over-unders. I'll just look at those games. As you know, with soccer, it's 3-way action, so you can bet a draw too, and so I don't normally bet the draws. Wes has got the 2 games. Both guys mentioned Green Bay. Both Chris and Wes mentioned Green Bay, so I'm going to throw Green Bay on a ticket. I like betting on that game for the first half, those London games, because when I wake up, I don't even have to look at the score. I just look at my account. If I got more money than when I went to bed, I know I hit the first half, because that's about when I'll get up. I'll get up about 9 o'clock. It'll be sometime in the second half. Sunday's the only day I sleep in because I get all my bets in before I go to bed.
You check your bank account, realize, oh, okay, this game's early, and then fall back asleep.
Exactly. But I really do. I had Green Bay last week. They let us down. They played so poorly. I just got to think they'll play better. By Sunday, there could be some Major League Baseball action on my agenda, but I'm going to watch these first couple games and kind of get a feel. Right? This is a new format. I haven't been betting baseball for the last month since football started, so I'm not going to just start going crazy betting playoff baseball when I haven't paid attention. But I'll pay attention to these first 8 games or so, and we'll see what happens. I know right here where we live in San Diego, it's pretty exciting time because the team really believes in their Padres.
Oh, yeah,
so we'll
you enjoy that.
That's nice. Good for you. Congratulations. Really, you're going to end it that way, Chaz? That's nice. That's good. Rub it in more.
I'm not a Padre fan. I'm just telling you
brought it up. Now you
decided.
Chamber. That's it.
I tell people all the time, you got to fool yourself before you can start fooling me.